The galaxy was vast, but for Kalara Voss, it was a hunting ground. She was a legend among the stars, a name whispered in fear by alien warlords and celebrated by human colonies. Known as the Huntress of the Stars, Kalara had spent the last decade tracking down the most dangerous creatures and criminals across the cosmos. Her reputation was built on her unmatched combat skills, her razor-sharp intellect, and her unyielding determination. But tonight, her hunt would take an unexpected turn. Kalara stood on the observation deck of her ship, the Eclipse, staring out at the swirling nebula of the Zephyrian expanse. Her sharp green eyes scanned the star map projected on the holographic display. A new target had emerged, a rogue alien mercenary known only as Vrwenen. He was a shadowy figure, responsible for the destruction of several human outposts and the slaughter of countless innocents. Kalara had been tracking him for weeks, and now, finally, she had a lead. Her ship's AI, a sleek, gender-neutral voice named Nexus, interrupted her thoughts. "Captain Voss, we've received a transmission from the outpost on Lyra Prime. It appears Vrwenen was spotted near the asteroid belt in the Kasari sector." Kalara's lips curled into a faint smile. "Set a course for the Kasari sector. Maximum speed. I want to catch him before he slips away again." The Eclipse surged forward, its engines humming with power as it tore through the fabric of space. Kalara retreated to her armory, a room filled with an array of weapons, plasma rifles, energy blades, and her signature weapon, the Starstrike bow, a high-tech bow that fired arrows tipped with explosive charges. She strapped on her combat suit, a sleek, black armor that enhanced her strength and agility, and prepared for the hunt. As the ship approached the asteroid belt, Kalara's sensors picked up a faint energy signature. It was a small, cloaked vessel, barely detectable. "That's him," she muttered. "Nexus, prepare for a boarding maneuver. I'm going in." The Eclipse closed in on the cloaked ship, and Kalara launched herself into the void, her suit's thrusters propelling her toward the enemy vessel. Kalara spent the next few days analyzing the data from her encounter with Vrwenen. The alien mercenary was more dangerous than she had anticipated, and his ship's technology was unlike anything she had seen before. She needed to learn more about him if she was going to defeat him. Her search led her to a remote planet on the edge of the galaxy, a place known as Zenith 9. It was a lawless world, ruled by crime syndicates and black market traders. If anyone had information on Vrwenen, it would be here. The Eclipse touched down in a sprawling spaceport, its landing gear sinking into the muddy ground. Kalara stepped out, her armor concealed beneath a long, hooded cloak. The air was thick with the smell of fuel and decay, and the streets were crowded with aliens of every shape and size. She made her way to a seedy bar called the Rusty Nebula, a known hub for mercenaries and informants. Inside, the bar was dimly lit, the air filled with the hum of conversation and the clinking of glasses. Kalara approached the bartender, a grizzled alien with 4 arms and a scar across his face. "I'm looking for information," she said, sliding a credit chip across the counter. "About a mercenary named Vrwenen." The bartender's eyes narrowed. "Vrwenen, huh? That's a dangerous name to be throwing around. What do you want with him?" "That's my business," Kalara replied, her tone firm. "Do you know where I can find him?" The bartender hesitated, then nodded toward a corner of the bar. "Talk to the Zorathian over there. He's got connections to the underworld. But be careful, he doesn't take kindly to strangers." Kalara made her way to the Zorathian, a tall, reptilian alien with scales that shimmered in the dim light. He eyed her warily as she approached. "I hear you know something about Vrwenen," she said, cutting straight to the point. The Zorathian leaned back in his chair, his forked tongue flicking out. "Vrwenen is a ghost. No one knows where he comes from or where he's going. But if you're looking for him, you'll need to talk to the syndicate. They've been hiring him for their dirty work." Kalara's eyes narrowed. "The syndicate? Where can I find them? The Zorathian chuckled. You don't find the Syndicate, Huntress. They find you. But if you're serious about taking on VRWNN, you'll need more than just your bow and arrows. He's not just a mercenary, he's something else. Something ancient. Before Kalara could press further, the Zorathian stood and walked away, disappearing into the crowd. She clenched her fists, frustration bubbling beneath the surface. She needed answers, and she wasn't going to stop until she got them. As she left the bar, Kalara felt a prickling sensation on the back of her neck. She turned, her hand instinctively reaching for her bow, but the street was empty. She shook off the feeling and made her way back to the eclipse. But as she boarded her ship, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Kalara's investigation into the Syndicate led her to a sprawling city on the planet Noxera, a place where the line between law and crime was blurred beyond recognition. The city was a labyrinth of towering skyscrapers and neon lights, its streets teeming with life and danger. It was here, in the heart of the Syndicate's operations, that Kalara hoped to find the answers she sought. She had barely stepped off her ship when she was approached by a group of armed thugs. Their leader, a hulking alien with cybernetic implants, stepped forward. "You're not welcome here, Huntress," he growled. "Turn around and leave, or things will get ugly." Kalara didn't flinch. "I'm not here for a fight," she said calmly. "I'm looking for information." "About VRWNN." The thug's eyes narrowed. "VRWNN's not someone you want to mess with. But if you're so eager to die, maybe we'll oblige." The thugs lunged at her, but Kalara was ready. She moved with lightning speed, her bow firing arrows that struck with pinpoint accuracy. Within moments, the thugs were lying on the ground, groaning in pain. Kalara stepped over them and continued into the city. Her search led her to a towering skyscraper in the center of the city, a place known as the Syndicate Spire. It was the heart of the Syndicate's operations, a fortress of glass and steel that loomed over the city like a predator. Kalara knew that getting inside would be no easy task, but she was determined. Using her skills and gadgets, Kalara infiltrated the spire, bypassing security systems and taking out guards with ruthless efficiency. She made her way to the top floor, where she found herself face to face with the Syndicate's leader, a mysterious figure known only as the Overseer. The Overseer was seated in a high-backed chair, his face obscured by a hood. "Kalara Voss," he said, his voice smooth and calculating. "I've been expecting you. You've caused quite a stir in my organization." "I'm here for VRWNN," Kalara said, her voice steady. "Tell me where to find him." The Overseer chuckled. "VRWNN is a valuable asset. I can't just give him up. But perhaps we can make a deal. You see, there's someone else I need taken care of, a rival who's been causing me trouble. Eliminate him, and I'll give you the information you seek." Kalara's eyes narrowed. She didn't trust the Overseer, but she had no other leads. "Fine," she said. "But if you double-cross me, you'll regret it." The Overseer smiled. "I wouldn't dream of it." Kalara's mission for the Overseer led her to a remote moon on the edge of the galaxy, a desolate place where the air was thin and the ground was littered with the wreckage of ancient battles. Her target was a rogue Syndicate operative who had gone rogue, taking valuable intel with him. The Overseer wanted him eliminated, and Kalara had no choice but to comply. As she made her way across the moon's surface, Kalara couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The mission felt too easy, too convenient. She had a nagging suspicion that she was walking into a trap. Her suspicions were confirmed when she reached the coordinates provided by the Overseer. Instead of a rogue operative, she found herself surrounded by Syndicate enforcers, their weapons trained on her. At the center of the group stood VRWNN, his red eyes glowing with malice. "Kalara Voss," he said, his voice dripping with mockery. "I told you you'd made a mistake. The Overseer sends his regards." Kalara cursed under her breath. She had been played. But she wasn't going down without a fight. She raised her bow and fired, taking out 2 of the enforcers before they could react. The battle was fierce, but Kalara was outnumbered and outgunned. She fought with everything she had, but it wasn't enough. As she lay on the ground, battered and bruised, Vrwenen approached her, his claws gleaming in the dim light. "You're strong, Huntress," he said. "But you're not strong enough." Kalara glared up at him, defiance burning in her eyes. "This isn't over," she spat. Vrwenen chuckled. "Oh, but it is." Kalara awoke in a dimly lit cell, her body aching from the fight. She had been captured by Vrwenen and the Syndicate, but she wasn't going to let them break her. She had been in worse situations before, and she had always found a way to survive. As she assessed her surroundings, Kalara noticed a faint glimmer of light coming from a crack in the wall. She focused her energy and used her suit's enhanced strength to break through the wall, revealing a hidden passage. She slipped through the passage and found herself in a maintenance tunnel that led to the surface. Kalara emerged from the tunnel to find herself on the outskirts of the Syndicate's base. She knew she had to act quickly. Using her skills and gadgets, she sabotaged the base's power grid, plunging the facility into darkness. In the chaos, she made her way to the armory and retrieved her weapons. With her bow in hand, Kalara launched a one-woman assault on the Syndicate's base. She moved like a shadow, taking out guards and disabling security systems with ruthless efficiency. She fought her way to the command center, where she found Vrwenen waiting for her. "You're persistent, I'll give you that," Vrwenen said, his voice filled with grudging respect. "But this ends now." The 2 clashed in a final, brutal battle. Kalara fought with everything she had, her arrows striking with deadly accuracy. Vrwenen was a formidable opponent, but Kalara's determination and skill gave her the edge. With a final, well-placed shot, she brought him down. As Vrwenen lay defeated, Kalara stood over him, her chest heaving with exertion. "This is for everyone you've hurt," she said, her voice cold and steady. With Vrwenen defeated and the Syndicate's base in ruins, Kalara made her way back to the Eclipse. She had won the battle, but she knew the war was far from over. The galaxy was a dangerous place, and there would always be new threats to face. But Kalara Voss, the Huntress of the Stars, was ready for whatever came next.